Are you looking to positively motivate your students through providing an effective classroom reward system? In this video, we'll give you the 5 crucial concepts needed to set up and run a token economy, also known as a ticket reward system. At the end of the video, we'll let you in on a secret weapon that's sure to boost student buy-in and keep them motivated throughout the school year. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Mr. Cook's Corner, Education for Educators. We're here to provide you with the tools you need to grow in your teaching craft. If this is your first time watching, welcome aboard. Please consider subscribing and liking our videos if you enjoy what you see today and you want to stay updated on the latest and greatest in the world of education. Okay, we're going to jump right into the content today. Commonly known as a classroom ticket system, a token economy is one of the best management tools you can implement in your classroom, if done correctly. Let's take a look at how to properly establish and maintain a meaningful classroom reward system that promotes accountability and boosts motivation. Part 1, Individualized. One of the first and most crucial aspects of this system is that it's individualized. And by that I mean it's not a whole class reward system. Everybody gets a chance to learn, and other kids won't ruin the opportunities that you present to them. Each person gets their own chance to earn without the interference of other kids. This is super important when we're talking about individual accountability. Every single opportunity, every single kid. Each time they get a chance at it, regardless of how their day's been or how they feel when they come in. They may have had an awful first part of the day, but as it goes forward, every single chance, they're in the game. Now, can you offer whole class bonuses as part of the system? Of course you can. You can incorporate that like you always have. Some teachers use marble jars or they use classroom tallies at the front of the board. You can incorporate those things within the individual accountability system. However, it's not the primary function of how this works in the first place. So one key takeaway from this part is to remember that whatever it is you're choosing to offer as part of your rewards, whether it be tickets or points or whatever it is, make sure that you're giving each kid an opportunity to earn and you're not letting other kids take that opportunity away from them. Number 2, no negatives or losing rewards. When I go in classrooms, one of the key problems I see with reward systems and accountability systems and classroom management in general is that teachers take things away from students. I'm not talking about supplies or things that they may be fidgeting with at their desk, but I'm talking about hard-earned points, tickets, whatever. When a student earns that, they need to be able to keep that. If you take it away from them, that's showing them that it could be gone at any moment. And what's the point of earning in the first place if it's going to be possibly taken from them later on in time? So a key distinction here is that you can lose an opportunity to earn. You may present a job or you may present a task at hand and they may not meet that task or that job and they don't earn the points for that or the tickets, and that's okay. What we don't want to do though is take things away from them that they've already earned at an earlier point in time. It totally ruins the foundation of the system and it kills student buy-in. You have to compare this system to getting paid for a job that you do. When I go to work at the end of the month, I'm getting a paycheck. If I mess up on a certain day and I get in trouble with my boss, I'm still going to get that paycheck. At the end of the day, I'm being contracted to do something, and regardless of my performance on a given day, what I've earned is what I've earned. So the one key takeaway that we want to focus on is that when you take rewards away, it undermines the entire system that you've established and it ruins the foundation of your classroom management strategies. Number 3, student choice. Okay, so student choice is another critical element to establishing an effective classroom management system using a token economy. One of my favorite sayings is that when they have a say, they'll pay to play. And that is definitely the case with this system. One thing I love to do with my kids is just sit down at the back of the room with them, get out a sloppy copy of an anchor chart, and just start writing down ideas that they come up with. What is it that you want to earn? What are you working for? When kids have that voice and that opportunity to contribute, they're going to buy in more to the system at hand. It's important that we just let them be silly and put ideas up on there. You can always eliminate them later. If they want to come up with something that makes no sense to you, but it's something that they enjoy, then go for it. If they want to take off their shoes for a half hour, stinky feet aside, then let them go for it. All joking aside, you'd be actually surprised at some of the stuff they come up with that you may not have thought of yourself, going, okay, I'm totally okay with giving that to you as a reward. The longer the list that you make and the more choices that they have, it's a bigger menu and they're going to end up wanting to buy in even more. Of course, you can still throw in some of your own rewards and your own choices. That's what you're there for as a teacher. You can guide them in this. You can also steer them through the process when they get way off track. But if you have a rich combination of you and them together working on it, including student voice, it's going to be successful. The big takeaway from this point is that allowing student voice creates buy-in, motivation throughout the entire year. Okay, before we go to our fourth point, I want to throw in a quick question for the comment section, guys. What are some of your favorite classroom rewards that you use in your classroom? Let's get together and collaborate. Post down below in the comment section. Let us know, what are some of your favorites? Do you have questions? Post those too. Here at Mr. Cook's Corner, we're all about collaboration. Let's work together to make our classrooms a better place. Number 4, different price points. So having different price points is a way to practice the spend-save dichotomy. It's a really important tool for younger kids to learn. You're going to want to have a rich variety, from things that kids can purchase at any given time within a week, to things that take a couple weeks to save up for, to even things that may take a semester or the whole year to make a giant purchase. Obviously, you could start with some of the smaller things like pencils and pens and cool notepads that they could purchase that you get on the cheap at the dollar store. You can make things like that relatively inexpensive and available for purchase whenever. On the other hand, you could have some of the more expensive items like eating lunch in the classroom with the teacher, to where it takes them a couple weeks or maybe even a month to save up for that. Maybe you just save that one day out of the month where, hey guys, it's my time. If you're going to purchase lunch in the classroom, this is your time to cash in. And students who've saved up, they're welcome to do that. Part of this is that they're practicing the real world skill of spending and saving. Some kids are going to want to hoard every ticket. And I'm going to show you a little tip at the end of this video on why they might want to save every single ticket and not spend anything at all. Other kids want to just spend all the time as soon as they get it. As long as you provide a way for them to be able to do that, it's going to work out for them and they're going to want to earn at all times. A couple cool pro tips. 1, have different valued tickets. Personally, I like the little rolls that they use in the carnivals. They have numbers on either side. You can use those and have different colors represent different values. So let's say you start with a blue roll. You give them that those are worth 1 each. When you reach a certain benchmark number, such as 25 or 50 even, you can trade those blue tickets in for a red ticket with a higher value. Kids love being able to upgrade. It's part of the video game culture. It's part of leveling up. It's part of getting better. I even had one at one point in time where we were giving away so many, they had a ticket that was worth 500. Now this didn't happen until the end of the year, but once that kid got it and was able to hold that purple ticket in her hand, everybody in the class was amazed. They were just like, whoa, this is crazy. Quick side tip, make sure you have them put their names on the back of those tickets. If they lose it, they lose it, and you want to be able to prove who owns what. Are you going to end up losing those tickets for the year at the end? Of course, you're going to have to rebuy them, and that's just part of the process. However, if you get into that whole world of he said, she said, you're going to be navigating some tricky waters. So just my personal suggestion. The key takeaway for number 4 here is to offer different price points so kids can practice spending and saving. Make sure you have multiple choices, multiple things that kids can buy at different price points. Have a low, a medium, and a high. It's okay to have things that kids don't ever reach. It's there for them to strive for. Number 5. Consistency is key. Here's where you could lose everything in one felt swoop. You have to stay consistent. Do not back up or backtrack on your word. No matter what it is that you've said, you can always go back and revisit it later as a group. But if you were to tell one kid no and another kid yes, or if you were to say, no, I don't feel like honoring that today, it will ruin the entire system. So you need to honor that purchase, regardless of how you're feeling on that day. Now, that's not to say that if there are some obvious flaws that you notice along the way within the system, if a ticket purchase is too cheap or it's being purchased too often, or if something is not going right, there's nothing wrong with making changes. What's important though is that you involve the kids in those changes. Call a classroom meeting, bring them to their seats at the back and talk to them about what you're noticing and what you'd like to change. As long as you're proposing it with them and they have that voice and that input, it's going to be okay. Just be sure not to pull the rug out from underneath them at a moment's notice. It'll cause confusion, kids won't understand what the expectations are, and you'll lose all the buy-in and the motivation that you've worked so hard to gain. So the key takeaway for this point here is to always stay consistent. What you say you do, you do. honor your word. Okay, I said I'd promise you a little bonus here at the end, how to keep that motivation going throughout the entire year to where they may not even spend a single ticket. Bonus tip number 6, end of year auction. The end of year auction is honestly one of the coolest things I've ever done in my classroom. The kids love it. Let me explain why. At the beginning of the year, when you're first establishing this system, you're getting your routines, you're getting your procedures, and you're explaining to kids how they will earn rewards and tickets and points and how they will be able to use those things. You have to let them know right then and there that at the end of the year, you will be holding an end of year auction where the kids can spend their hard-earned points to buy some of the coolest stuff that they've ever seen. Now, in reality, what you're going to do later on is you're going to hit up the dollar store and find trinkets. You're going to hit up parents and ask them to send in things towards the end of the year. As you build that up, you're going to be able to get quite the collection of things that really don't cost that much to you, but to them, it's going to look super neat and attractive. Even throughout the year, you may throw out some parent feelers and toss out some emails saying, hey, just a heads up, we're building up to this auction. If you come across anything that you don't need or you come across things that you think kids might like, send it in to me. Throughout the year, you'll be able to gather this stuff up, and at the end of the year, you're going to have a treasure trove of things that kids will be able to bid on. This way, it's not going to lose its luster throughout the year. There's always going to be an opportunity to earn, and it's going to provide the continuous motivation that they need to get through the entire year earning those tickets. This is especially great for when the always available rewards get old to some of your kids that earn lots of tickets. It also provides for kids who might not necessarily earn as many tickets as others. They're still going to have something that they can save and use at the end of the year. As always, we hope we provided you with some great value and content today. If you want to know more, please check out the rest of this playlist, which will go more into detail about what kind of things should you be rewarding kids for and how much exactly should we be giving them. We have a detailed video that's going to go into step-by-step on how to run the system itself. Also, we're going to be providing another video that goes more in depth into that end of year auction. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, leave us a comment, and let us know about future videos you might want to see. Also, be sure to check out our newest videos whenever we post them. See you next time at Mr. Cook's Corner. Bye!